Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Exploring Attractions. My name is Scott and today we're talking about Epic Universe. Before we get into all the Epic Universe fun, please subscribe down below with those bell notifications on and leave this video a like at the end. It helps out a whole lot. And as always, check out our social media pages, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're posting up-to-date theme park information and those places are actually where you're going to get the news first compared to our YouTube channel. So make sure that you're following us on all those platforms, which you can also find down below in the description. It has been a long time since I've done an Epic Universe update. I've been all over the place. I've been filming different things. I've been going to different parks. So I figured why not give y'all an Epic Universe update. And shout out to BioReconstruct as always. So out there taking photos for everybody and for all of us to analyze and get excited for Epic Universe. So huge shout out to him as usual. But enough chit chat, let's get into the Epic Universe update and let's kick things off with the Universal Monsters Land. Right now, of course, the entire Universal Monsters Land is going through a major change. And what I mean by that is it seems like all the pathways, all the detail and whatnot are slowly starting to take shape a lot more. We've obviously seen the rumored Wolfman coaster be complete with all of its track work and whatnot, and it seems to be some form of barn as an indoor scene on one of the parts of the coaster. The station, as we see, it's taking a lot more framing, no detail quite yet as far as what the detail is going to look like on the station. But right behind that is rumored to be a windmill restaurant, a quick service restaurant that is, and it seems like that has taken a lot more shape since our last update. You can see a lot more permanent walls are slowly starting to go up. We've obviously focused in on that. It looks to be a windmill form of tower or something on top of it. And that's kind of signifying that that's what we think it's going to be. But yeah, lots of the walls are starting to go up around this. It's looking a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. Now, like I said, this is rumored to be a quick service, a grab and go. So there won't be a huge dining hall on the inside, but it does look a lot bigger than I expected it to be, in my opinion. It's fun to see stuff like this start to take shape, though. Obviously, we're all excited for the different rides, the roller coasters, but me personally, I get excited looking at the different restaurants and shops taking shape just as much as I do for the rides. But before we switch over to another thing, a part of Epic Universe, I want to show you guys a look at the entry portal to Universal Monsters. Now, we reported last time that lots of work is going on around this entry portal. It's actually the only entry portal getting stuff done. Obviously, you have the warp pipe with Super Nintendo World, but this one actually has shaping to it, has framing to it. We don't know what it's going to be. It looks to me like it's going to be some form of rock work done on it, and then of course that triangular type of entrance at the very front. But I do see some form of rock work. I don't know. Are you guys agreeing with me on this? And then I don't know what that little pillar is to the right of this entryway. Maybe that will have some part of the entry portal for Universal Monsters. Now, one thing that has been slowly moving along and hasn't seen tons of progress, so now has actually seen some from the last time we looked at this, is the in-park hotel. Now, there are some different pillars and whatnot going up slowly but surely. There's some different shaping in the front of this hotel. So it looks like they're almost ready to go vertical, like higher up. But right now, it seems like it's still at a standstill. You just start to notice tiny little improvements along the way, especially when it doesn't move at all. Let's move on to the Wizarding World Land. And the Wizarding World Land, as always in every construction update, is super complicated. We want to talk about close quarters. The Wizarding World is definitely one of those that's going to be super close quarters. It's going to make you feel really immersed in this land, just like Diagon Alley over at Universal Studios. But a new structure has gone up, some new steel has gone up, and a new concrete wall, it looks like, kind of closing off the other side of this Wizarding World land. Now you can see it's starting to take more shape of those surrounding city buildings and just the facade of those city buildings. I mean, that front part, it looks like almost like a tower. That's the top part of that triangular figure. That is giving me like Gringotts vibes right there. Like that grand reveal where the dragon sits on top. That's exactly what it looks like, which is kind of awesome because maybe you'll have that same reveal for when you walk into the Wizarding World at Epic Universe. On top of that new structure though, there's a lot more framing going on to these surrounding city buildings, the caps of them, the different buildings on top. I could definitely see them starting to put detail very, very soon on this. It looks like this is our first bit of detail for the Wizarding World. Obviously, we've seen this type of framing and shaping before, but now it looks like they're going full force with it, and it looks like that concrete goes all the way down the side of these different structures and not just the rooftop. I can't wait for us to start seeing the theming of the different rooftops, because then it will really capture the vibe of the Wizarding World. And might I say, I think that all these different structures are going to be super tall in the Wizarding World. I think like a couple updates ago, I kind of compared the size of the show building for the main attraction, obviously rumored to be the Ministry of Magic, kind of compared it to everything else, and it was massive. Now, lots of people have talked about this potentially having another attraction and not just the Ministry of Magic. In my opinion, right now, it looks like it is just going to be one ride just because how small of a land this is. But then again, we don't know how much of the indoor section of this is going to be utilized. Is the show building just utilized for the attraction, or is it utilized for more walking space inside as well? We don't know quite yet. I would say if they are utilizing more of the building for walk-in room and attraction, then we can definitely see two different rides. But if it's just solely the ride, then I think we're probably only getting one as a part of the Wizarding World. But judging based on the construction progress right now, it looks like this will also have a massive entry portal into the land, because you have the kind of circular entry portal, and then it takes a little bit until you get into the actual land. There's some random structure at the very front, and that's why I think that they're planning to build some form of big entry portal to this. Now, with the dual racing roller coaster that's set to be themed to whatever the hub is themed to, there hasn't been a whole ton of progress since the last update. Obviously, we've seen the track that has gone up, but no new track has gone up since then. Actually, no new supports have gone up since then. This has kind of been at a standstill. They're moving very fast with this dual racing roller coaster for, I'd say, a good 3 months, and now it looks like they've just paused it right now. And the reason for them doing that is because they are working on different portions throughout Epic Universe. Obviously, we've seen a lot more progress on the different lands compared to this coaster now, but don't be surprised if they just randomly put up track at random moments, and it's not just one piece of track, it's a ton of pieces of track, because we've seen them do it before with this specific project. Alright, but on to the How to Train Your Dragon Land. There's something very exciting that I want to talk about, and no, it's not the roller coaster. Instead, it's right across from the roller coaster, and that's a Great Hall restaurant, because lots more has happened since the last time we talked about it. Before, walls were going vertical, but now it's like completely closed off, and there's lots more shaping going on into the Great Hall restaurant, which I am so excited about, because this is something that I'm really anticipated about. I don't know why I am, and I think the big reason behind that is because I think that it's going to be on level up theming as the Leaky Cauldron at Universal and stuff like that. And I'm just a big fan of the How to Train Your Dragon films in general. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a lot more framing go on with this in the coming weeks or so. Of course, we do have the coaster to talk about, and a lot of the coasters actually engulfed in the water section of the ride, because around all the different coaster track, lots more walls start to go up around it, kind of creating that feel that you're rushing through the water. Construction workers are still working on those statues of Berk, and they have since been covered since we last saw them. One is actually covered in lots of scrim and scaffolding, and we can't really see the detail that's going on, but I would imagine that since that is covered, they are working on putting detail on these different statues, these huge statues, because if you look at the difference between the humans who are standing there, construction workers, compared to the size and scale of these statues, it's pretty impressive. And of course, there's lots more theming going on around this portion of the attraction, different Viking boats and whatnot. This scene is going to be pretty cool when the coaster flies right by it. You actually get a really neat look at just before when the coaster dips into this scene, the kind of bank turn. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. It looks like some of the supports are colored the color of brown. You kind of got like a brownish, orangish, silverish color pattern for the How to Train Your Dragon coaster. And then the rest of the How to Train Your Dragon land is coming along very nicely. No real update on the theater attraction, but let's move over to our last land, which is Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World, I've been talking about every week that it just seems like right now there's not a whole ton of progress on it. The Donkey Kong coaster, there is activity going on. There are different small little changes here and there. They've obviously enclosed the station a whole lot and the indoor sections of the coaster. And then on the top of it, it looks like they're getting getting ready to put detail to put, I would assume that are mountains and stuff like that to kind of engulf you and immerse you in the Super Nintendo World Donkey Kong area. Right in front of it, though, of course, is the hub area of Super Nintendo World, the Yoshi attraction. They're working a lot more on closing up that indoor scene. There's the walls covering up the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge attraction, obviously getting ready to create that entry facade of Bowser's Castle, which is super impressive, as we've seen over in Hollywood and Japan. I feel like they're able to put this land up so quickly just because they've already built them at the different parks, obviously in Hollywood and Japan. So that's why this one's kind of at a standstill, because they put up all the framing and whatnot super quick, and right now they're just waiting to start on detail and different stuff that only the construction team would know about. But one last thing to talk about before we go, and that's of course the water-based attraction in the hub. This thing has made a lot more progress since we talked about it. There's an actual covering of this. The last update that we did, it looks like they were preparing to put some form of covering on top. It looks like this is more of a permanent one, and there's more shape of what that's supposed to be. I don't know what those little boxes are surrounding the ride. I'd assume those are either electrical boxes or water jet boxes. Maybe this ride will have you surrounded by different water jets. But yeah, it is exciting. This tiny little attraction is getting me so excited because there's new developments with it every day, and to this day we still don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be some form of hub attraction, but we don't know what it's going to be quite yet. There's rumors, there's people pulling permits and whatnot, but that's going to do it for today's Epic Universe construction update. If there's something that you noticed in this update that I didn't, let us know down below in the comments section, and let us know what you're most excited about for when Epic Universe opens in 2025. If you're new here, please subscribe down below with those bell notifications on, and leave this video a like if you did enjoy it. And as always, check out all of our social media platforms down below in the description. My name is Scott, and you have been watching Exploring Attractions. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.